I'd like to call the April meeting of the Township, Batavia Township Board to order. And would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And would the clerk call the roll, please?
Walter Johnnet.
Here.
Troy Chisana.
Here.
John West.
Here.
Jennifer Zorn.
Here.
Lee Tracy.
I'm here. And so the next item on our agenda, we're going to have a presentation of our last audit by our accountant from Sikich, Brian Lefebvre, who also happens to be a Batavia resident.
That's correct.
Good.
Do you want me to come up to the table?
Sure, why don't you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
On behalf of Sikich, thanks for inviting us here tonight to just review with you the comments on the annual financial report. So it's one of the two documents you have there, that annual financial report for the township's year ended March 31st, 2023. Within this document, you'll find our independent auditor's report just past the table of contents. You want to go to other documents. So the one that says annual financial report. Yep, you got it. It's going to be on Sikich letterhead, and it's going to say independent auditor's report. There you go. So this is where we've given our opinion on the financial statements. In order to conduct an audit, we're required to follow two sets of standards. One set of standards are the auditing standards, and they come from the AICPA, the American Institute for Certified Public Accountants. And those standards tell us the types of procedures we need to perform when we're conducting our audit. And then the second set of standards come from the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, or GASB, and GASB sets the rules for financial statements for local governments such as the township. Once we follow those two sets of standards, we can then issue an opinion. We're pleased to present what's called an unmodified opinion. What that means is that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with the cash basis of accounting, free of material misstatement. So that, what I just explained to you is on 3 pages. And then after those 3 pages, you'll come to 2 facing statements on pages 4 and 5. So this is GASB's attempt at consolidated financial statements. So if you take all the township funds and all the road district funds and you put them on one statement, and then you layer on those the capital assets of the township, you have what you see on page 4, cash and then the capital assets. And then on page 5 shows expenses in the upper left, and then your general revenues like property taxes down the right-hand side. So your change in net position was a slight decrease of $1,137 when you aggregate everything together. Of course, that's not how you operate, so we don't spend a lot of time on that. If you turn to page 6 is just what was in each of your funds, general, road and bridge, and general assistance. So $263,550 for general town fund, $558,000 for the road and bridge, and $11,092 for the general assistance fund. How did you get to those end of the year balances? That's what you see on page 8. Page 8 shows revenues, expenditures, and then the changes in fund balances for the year. So if we focus first on the general town fund, had $1,246,000 in revenues, $1,261,000 in expenditures, so $14,849 decrease. So going from $278,000 to $263,000. And that 263 is what we saw over on the balance sheet. That's how the statements talk to each other. And then your road and bridge fund, $611,000 in revenue with $518,000 in expenditures, so an increase of $93,000. General assistance, $10,969 in revenue with $32,332 in expenditures, so a decrease of 21. So from 32 to 11,092 during fiscal year 23. In the notes, page 10 begins what's called the notes to the financial statements. In the notes is going to give you more information supporting the financial statements that we just reviewed. So for example, like note number 1 is all of the accounting policies that the township has in place to prepare those financial statements that we just reviewed. If you jump over to page 14 is a note disclosure on the deposits and investments of the township. Third paragraph there talks about custodial credit risk. Custodial credit risk is the risk that if any of your financial institutions were to go out of business where the township has its money, would you be able to make good on your deposits? So we test, you get $250,000 in coverage from the FDIC, and then you do have the ability to have those deposits collateralized. Your accounts at U.S. Bank, at least at March 31, 2023, were not collateralized, so you did have exposure to what's called custodial credit risk. So the balance above $250,000 is that $582,050 at March 31st, 23.
Can I ask you a question right now?
Of course.
We don't belong to USB anymore, we belong to Wintrust. So
Okay.
it'll come up in
So that's probably,
it's-
that's all been addressed then when you move to Wintrust, so.
Okay.
Because Wintrust, as a general rule of thumb, Wintrust spreads your deposits across all of their Wintrust banks because they're all separately chartered.
Right.
So you get $250,000 in coverage for each Wintrust bank. So
Awesome.
we report it to you here, and it's basically already implemented. So that is good news. You turn from there over to page 20. This was through December 31st, 2022, information from the actuaries at IMRF, basically comparing the estimated liability for the participants in the plan, both current participants and also beneficiaries, and that liability is estimated at $2,090,000. That's bottom left-hand side of that table. Plan fiduciary net position is just GASB's fancy term for assets at market value, and that was $2,287,000. So you actually had more assets than liabilities. So you're at December 31st, 22, you were 109% funded. So obviously IMRF's a very, very well-funded plan, and you're doing exactly what you're required to do in terms of your participation in IMRF. We turn over to page 25 just to page 23, just where information is at within the report. Up at the front of the report, we saw the actual amounts for each of your funds. Page 23 then begins budget versus actual statements for each of the funds. So general fund followed by road and bridge on page 24, and then the general assistance fund is on page 25. Those are what I'd consider to be the highlights of the report, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
On the benefits and refunds section of IMRF, does that indicate that we're paying out $87,000?
What page are you on?
20.
I'm sorry?
20.
20. So that means, yes, so the benefit payments that were made for the year to retirees was $87,000 in the year 2022.
That's Batavia Township retirees?
Correct. So, and those are paid directly from IMRF to those beneficiaries.
So how do you have access, how do we have access to those figures?
So this information comes from the actuaries at IMRF. So the way IMRF works is not only do they manage the investments for the pension plan, they're also responsible for all the payouts. So you have access on your portal to a list of the census, both who the active employees are in the census and also who the retirees are in the census. So whoever your IMRF representative is, they can get into the portal for Batavia Township and look at who those individuals are.
And what would an other transfer be? the last line above the net change is 16,505.
I'm not sure how IMRF classifies that, because we don't actually audit this information. This information is from the actuaries. Employer contributions would be the township contributions of 18,541. Active member contributions, which is 4.5% of payroll, is the 33,660. During 2022, the markets didn't do very well, so that's a loss on your investments of 286,000 in 2022. Benefit payments of 87,093. I'm not sure what the 16,505 is that they've classified there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I see this audit cost us a little less than the first one. Will this be more in line with the next two? You feel?
It kind of depends on how the activity came forth in QuickBooks, because there was quite a challenge this year where a lot of payrolls had been double booked in QuickBooks, so we did have quite a few adjusting
Okay.
entries to.
Even this year? It was-
Correct, correct.
Maybe next year. that'll stay.
So we tried to work with Sarah to help her with, the bank reconciliations in QuickBooks are only as good as the data in the system. And so there were a lot of transactions that were just sitting there as if they hadn't cleared the bank. Well, we knew that wasn't the case. It was just that they had been double posted. So
Okay.
if she posts all the entries back to 23, then Lauren Allen, who is the manager on the engagement, showed Sarah that she should be able to click off both sides of those to clear those out. For those of you that have fun with personal finance on Quicken or anything, it's the same concept where here's the check cleared the bank, check it off the list. But there were pages of reconciling items, so it's hard to use the system when the way it's intended to
Yeah.
be used when
I hope
there's a
we get
lot of
that
duplicates.
Cleared up, because we used to be able to get
Correct, so.
some reports that were meaningful.
Right, so that hopefully, if Sarah posts those entries, and the entries are all included in the second document, hopefully that will clean that up.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think it'll get there. She's been
She's
here
learning.
2 years.
Well, I think the
and-
challenge is that we have gone through a change in QuickBooks, we've gone through a change in payroll services, we've gone through a change in personnel.
It'll improve. It'll get better and smoother.
Very good.
Awesome.
So we are up to date. We have one outstanding audit yet to do
Correct.
in order to bring it up to date, and then we have to do this current budget year.
Correct.
Right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
So yeah, the goal would be, if the, township reengages us to continue on those audits, the goal would be fall of this year to work on the 24 audit. And then if that one goes quickly, we could still get the 25 audit done in the winter.
By
But
24, you mean 23/24.
correct, so the year
Okay.
ended March 31st, 24,
Yes.
so
Okay.
23, 24, correct.
All right.
Right.
If we can do 20, the goal would be to do 23, 24 this fall, and then 24, 25 hopefully still in the winter. That would be,
If we have if we have funds for it, yes. Good. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, I'll enjoy working with you.
Appreciate your work.
Yeah, really.
Very good. Anything else? All right. Let me look, we're doing well. So we'll excuse
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
Brian. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
You're welcome.
We'll be talking.
Sounds good. Good night, everyone.
Good, thank you.
Good night.
Next item on the agenda are the approval of the minutes of March meeting. We actually have two sets of minutes, one for the budget meeting and one for the March meeting. So why don't I have a motion to approve the minutes of the budget hearing of March 11th?
So moved.
Is there a second? So it's been moved by Mr. West and seconded by Mr. Tusana. Is there any discussion, questions about any of those minutes for the budget hearing of March 11th? If not, then why don't we have the clerk call the roll on the approval of the minutes for the budget hearing of March 11th?
West,
Yes.
Zorin,
Yes.
Donnet,
Abstain?
Tucson,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. Next item would be the minutes of the regular meeting of March 11th, which you have before you. So is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 11th?
So move.
Moved by
Second.
Mr. Tucson and seconded by Mr. West. Any questions, concerns, comments? If not, then let's have the clerk call the roll on the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of March 11th.
Tucson,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zorin,
Yes.
Donnet,
Abstain?
Tracy.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is simply my supervisor's report. And why don't I just outline a couple things that are there. At the end of March 31st, we had a total of $930,414.43 in the bank. We have good news. We earned year-to-date from January through March almost $11,000 in interest. I will comment that at the current moment today, the current balance in the bank accounts is $929,000 plus. So we're still in pretty good shape. I want to just mention that the budget reports were at the end of the fiscal year. So in the town fund, we can carry over from the budget $35,000. In the road district, there is a carryover of about $623,000. We still have some problem areas in the budget in terms of legal fees, accounting fees, general assistance, and agreements with community agencies. Let me also comment that we now have the levy extended by the county so that our levy is less, $13,364 less than we requested. In the town fund mental health and general assistance, the road district was extended as requested. Okay. Any questions about any of that? So what we're going to, in essence, have to do, and John West and Tammy Kavanaugh and I will get together here in the next few days to talk about how we're going to adjust the budgets in this in the town fund. All right. Any other comments about that?
I do have a comment. So the road district, they requested and they got what they requested,
That is correct.
and the general fund got less.
Well, it's the town fund, which
Well, the
includes,
town fund.
which includes
Okay,
the
so the
supervisor,
town
the
fund.
assessor, and general assistance, and mental health. Right.
Wonder why that happens.
Because we exceeded the PTEL, exceeded the tax cap.
Oh.
The request exceeded the tax cap.
So can you pay the $13,000 shortage out of the $35,000 carryover?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, what we're going to do is to take a look at the budget and we're make some adjustments. There's another wrinkle here, and that is that we probably really have more because we didn't include all of the checking account balances in what's left over to begin the year.
Didn't include it where? In the carryover?
We didn't include it in the carryover. Well, what may be likely is that we may need to pass an amended budget.
Yeah.
I think that will probably what we will have to do down the line is to pass an amended budget, which will show that we are in better shape than we thought. Okay. I just want to mention that obviously we have gotten through the consolidated election, so congratulations to all of us who were re-elected by the wisdom of the voters. We're having the annual town meeting now. The May 13th monthly meeting will be with the new officers do not take office until May 19th. So the May Township meeting will consist of the old officers. And then the first meeting in June then will be the Township meeting with the newly elected officers. We have a couple important, I'm sorry.
Question. So are we going to, we'll have a swearing in?
Next meeting in May.
Did you do it last time?
I think when
Penny,
I
okay.
reviewed,
I know, but-
I reviewed the protocol. I will, I'm technically out of office, and so any notary public can swear in the clerk. So I was thinking that
Tammy is it?
Tammy can swear in the clerk, and then the new clerk will swear in the rest of it.
Okay. So we'll make sure we had someone.
I'm also a
swear in.
notary, so if Tammy
Okay.
cannot be here,
Okay,
that's fine.
perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a couple major things going on. I want to meet with community agencies, some of which we have funded in the past, to just cement our relationships with those people, and to assure them what hopefully we'll be able to, and we may in an amended budget be able to do that, support the social service agencies.
Or is John also going to attend those meetings?
Sorry, what?
The budget stuff?
No, with the
Oh, yes.
community agencies.
Yes.
He invited
Okay.
me, I'm going, I will.
Good.
That yes. And then we have coming up a dedication of the Jim Anderson Memorial Tree at what we refer to as Commissioner's Park. And that's going to take place on May the 24th. And we're going to have a meeting to plan those events of that date. I just want to mention too that on Tuesday, June 17th, there is a TOI newly elected official training in Naperville, so it's close. So I'll get to the folks, see who wants to attend that in Naperville on June the 17th. All right. Anything else? Oh, I will update you on, I have all kinds of new information from TOI about legislation, but the various bills consolidating the townships in one way or another are percolating their way through the legislature. And if you are interested, I can update you on where we are now with those issues. All right. Any questions about anything?
I do. I see that you're planning on April 11th, the Friday at 10 a.m. to have a planning meeting for the
Yes.
the tree.
If anybody
memorial?
would like to join us.
Is that something I could attend through phone or?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious.
That's okay. No, we don't have any way to do that. We are going to be, so far we're going to be joined by John West, myself, Chris Long, Tammy Kavanaugh, Sarah, and Walt Donnett has indicated he's going to be here for that. We can update you on what's going on, or if you have things to share, we'll let you know what's going to take place. All righty, and where are we? Oh, we've got 5 minutes. Okay, so let's quickly, we won't be so quick, but why don't we move to approval of the bills paid in April? So you have there before you the general and assessor bills, in other words, the supervisor's office and the assessor's office, to be approved in an amount of $77,395.20. So is there a motion to approve the assessor fund and general fund bills in the amount of $77,395.20?
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Eisenhorn, seconded by West. Any questions, concerns about any of those? If not, let's have the clerk call the roll on the payment of the assessor fund and general fund bills in the amount of $77,395.20.
Zorn,
Yes.
Donnett,
Yes.
Susanna,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. And we have road district bills in the amount, yeah,
One note is she inadvertently put the bill from Bonnell in the general road fund that belongs in the permanent road fund.
okay, so that needs to go down in the permanent road fund.
Yeah,
So we'll move it down there.
yeah. So the totals will be the same.
The total is, yeah, that's the new truck.
Yes,
So it's in here, it's done.
it's done, and we haven't picked it up yet.
We have to pay him and then pick it up.
No,
Maybe.
Well, no, we'll pick it up and
And then
then,
we'll pick it up and then pay
then I'll
him
give them the check. If it's,
if it's acceptable,
if it's acceptable.
if it runs.
If it's not, they can get it back.
So do we have a motion to approve the payment of the road fund bills in the amount of $155,822.59 with the understanding that the Bonnell truck of $129,000 plus goes in the permanent road fund rather than in the general road fund?
So moved.
Moved by Zorn. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Susanna. Any other discussion, any questions? We've also got a bunch of salt in here.
Yeah, we got half of it in, half of what we have to take,
Where do you put it?
the salt shed.
In the room?
Yes.
All righty, any other questions? If not, then let's have the clerk call the roll on the payment of the road fund bills in the amount of $155,822.59.
Zorn,
Yes.
Susanna,
Yes.
Donnett,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. I think what we'll do now is to have a, oh, I know, can I have a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of the Township Board until the conclusion of the annual meeting?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None hearing. We are now adjourned until the end of the town meeting. Okay? Yeah, in the town meeting, we are all no longer township officials. We are now citizens. And the clerk will take over for the annual meeting. I will move.
You want to move?
I'll just,
Oh,
do
then,
you want to sit?
Just out of curiosity.
I'm so moved.
town meeting always at 7:30?
Yeah.
Can we change it so that it's not?
Is anybody coming?
It's
It's set by
Seven.
DOI.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
7:30 everywhere.
I wondered.
Lock the door, don't let anybody
Yeah,
know that's
that's weird.
Because it's
We're
kind of a
on, we're still
pain.
being
Yeah.
televised.
Right, like, there's all the legalities of it, you know,
Like, could we do it at the end of our regular meeting or before?
right.
Swarms of people here.
Okay, I found
I
the
mean, right.
script. I'm going to call the meeting of the April 8th Annual Town Meeting of Batavia Township to order at 7:30 PM. And we need to have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I believe everyone in attendance has signed the sign-in sheet. The clerk is charged with asking the citizens of Batavia Township to elect a moderator who will be responsible for overseeing the rest of the meeting. I ask for nominations for a moderator.
I nominate Troy Tusana.
Okay, and your name is Chris Long,
Yep, today.
and you wish to nominate Troy Tusana.
I move the nominations be closed.
Oh, wait a minute. Is there a second for this?
You
Second.
gotta have a second first.
I'll
Okay.
second.
You want it?
Okay, now wait.
Okay.
Are there any other nominations? After hearing none, I will close the nominations by motion. Motion to close by,
I move to close the motion, to nominations.
and second, John West. Any discussion? I will call for a vote to close the nominations. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Motion carried. I will call for a vote to show of hands. All those in favor to elect Troy Tusana to be moderator of this annual town meeting, please raise your hand. Those opposed, please raise your hand. The motion carries. I will now swear in the moderator. Troy, would you like to come up to the front here?
You can sit in the big chair there.
Okay, Troy, please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly
that
swear
I, Troy Tusana,
that I, Troy Tusana,
will faithfully and impartially discharge
will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of moderator at this town meeting
the duty of the moderator of this town meeting
to the best of my ability.
to my best of my ability.
Okay, can I have your signature right here, please? Okay. And then this is, yeah, actually,
Okay.
okay, so you will ask for a motion to set your salary.
Okay.
You will ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
You will you will set the time for the annual town meeting.
Okay.
And then I will read the supervisor's annual.
And the road
Okay,
commissioner.
so that's the clerk.
Okay.
Okay, and then we will ask for a resolution to pass this, and Lee can explain that.
Okay.
And then the last, the surplus. Is the surplus, the declaration, before that is
Yeah.
a declaration. Is that by motion? Is that, or we just, are you
No,
just?
no,
We-
I just.
We just ask if there is any.
I itemize the equipment.
Okay, and then any of the electors present who would like to discuss something will have an opportunity to do that. And then you can ask for a motion to adjourn, okay?
Okay.
We'll help you along the way.
Okay.
Go, Troy, go, Troy.
So we're gonna set the moderator's salary. So,
I move we set the moderator's salary at $100.
Second?
okay.
And then,
We'll have a vote, right?
yes.
Okay, well, I have a vote. So, we'll
All those
go
in
around the
favor?
table. All in favor?
Aye.
All the opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay,
I think it was
Motion
passed.
passed.
motion passed.
Okay.
Okay, we'll approve the minutes of the annual meeting of April 9th, 2024.
I move to approve the minutes of the annual town meeting of April 4th, 2020. No, it's not 2026,
2024.
2024.
2024.
Yes, you just read it right.
I just read
It's
it wrong.
correct.
I got it up there.
There you go.
April 9th, 2024. I move the approval of those minutes.
Do we have a second? Okay,
Oh.
second.
Okay, Tracy. And Long? Okay.
Okay.
We can just vote.
All those in favor say yes.
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 All those who are not in favor say nay.
Motion passed.
Motion passed. Okay, we'll set a time for the annual town meeting
I move to set the
Oh, wait,
annual
wait,
town.
wait. The
of April 14th, 2026.
Move to set the time of the annual town meeting of April 14th, 2026 at 7:30 PM.
Second.
Okay. All those agree, say yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, say no. Motion approved. Okay,
Okay, and then this.
okay, the next is supervisor's annual financial report. Be read.
In actuality, just comment that if the report is a combination of the supervisors and the road commissioners' report, they're combined. And the clerk will read the summary
Okay,
of the report. The entire report is available, and is available on file here, and I think you have a copy.
okay.
Okay, hold on just a minute. I'm also the clerk, so I have to.
Yeah, double duty.
Okay, all right, so this is the Batavia Township summary for the fiscal year 2024-2025. The general town fund summary for that period, the beginning balance as of April 1st, 2024 was $166,072.75. The general fund revenue was $1,367,288.99. Disbursements for that period was $1,303,930.85, leaving a balance as of March 31st, 2025 of $229,430.89. Road fund summary, I am just going to round off these, the numbers and leave the cents off. The beginning balance, April 1st, 2024, was $352,147. The road fund revenue was $638,086. The road fund disbursements were $548,249, leaving a balance as of March 31st, 2025 of $441,984. The general assistance summary for the fiscal year 24-25, beginning balance April 1st, 2024 was $3,512. Transfers in amounted to $15,171. The fund earned less than dollar interest. Less disbursements, $22,621, leaving a deficit balance as of March 31st, 2025 of $3,938.
Okay. Do you do this one too? Or not? Declaration of surplus?
No.
Okay, okay. Okay, is there, we're going to declaration of surplus property, and is there a motion?
That's in my area.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got two pieces of equipment that I want to declare surplus. And the reason we do this is I've got two ways of moving equipment out. We'll be trading it in, which is just all part of the general transaction. The other way is to sell it outright. If I sell it to another township, there's not a need to declare it, but if I end up having to put it out for bids and selling it to a private individual through bidding, then I have to declare it. So the two items I have are a 2003 International 7400 plow truck, that's our oldest plow truck, and a 2011 stump grinder, that's might be worth selling. I don't know, we'll see. That's what the new one replaced. So those are the two items that would go on the list.
Okay.
And this could also be done at any monthly meeting too.
Okay.
They
You
made
have to
that rule. They made that rule change
Do
finally.
you have to value them, or you just wait for the bids to see what the value turns out to be?
I have to wait to see what I can say, starting at. But I'll put the feelers out so I'll know what it's worth first. And then we'll line up people to bid, and then we will put it out to bid, hopefully. My best bet is I'll advertise it in the TOI Perspective, and hopefully another township will pick up a good piece of equipment. This is a really good one, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid to sell it to somebody I know. That's all I got, Troy. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now we're going to the resolution number 48/2025 regarding the township. And Lee Tracy will be going over that.
Well, you have a copy of it. In essence, it's the same resolution that the Township Board passed at the last meeting in opposition to consolidation of township government. And this is a request by township officials of Illinois. So if this is passed, I will include it and send copies of it to our state legislators.
Why does it have a different number than the 311 2025?
Because it's based upon the date.
The original one had was pointing to an incorrect statute.
That has nothing to do with it.
And-
It has a different resolution number because it has a different date.
So the number is the date?
The
311
number,
2025 is March 11th?
what is this one? What is it?
I think you're on the right track. I think
Yeah.
you're right.
The
Yeah, they had
resolution
the
number
dates
has
on
the
it.
And the
dates.
other item, if I'm not mistaken, one was from our township meeting, and this is from the annual meeting,
That
so
is
it's a
correct.
separate one.
Different resolutions. One is a
We're gonna send
resolution.
two of them down to where we send them then. huh?
Yes, one is a resolution passed at the annual meeting, another one is a previous one passed by the Township Board.
Well, that makes sense.
Do we need a motion?
I would move to pass this, this resolution.
Second.
Okay.
Motion made.
Motion made and approved. Or can we have,
We have a second, so.
okay, yeah, we have a second. So can we have a vote
Yeah.
Yep.
now? So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All who's opposed, say nay. Okay, motion approved for the resolution number 48, 2025 regarding township councilation. And the last thing is discussion by elector.
Is there any issue to be brought up?
Is there any issue to be brought up?
by
But there can be
those
discussion, there
present?
cannot be any decision because the agenda is already set.
I move we adjourn.
Okay. Do we get a second?
Second.
Meeting is adjourned. All in favor, say
Hi.
Aye.
Very good.
There you go, Troy.
Good
All
job.
right.
Thank you.
okay. Thank
You
you
earned all
guys.
your money.
Yeah, where can I donate it?
All righty.
What time is it?
7:45.
7:45.
That's fine.
So
right.
we need a motion to move back to regular meeting?
Oh, no, wait.
No, because there was a
Just
motion,
second.
there was a motion to adjourn the meeting until the conclusion of this meeting.
Okay.
So the meeting is now concluded.
Yes.
And so let's go back to the agenda.
Good job.
I will call the meeting back to order.
All right.
And I'll return to our agenda. We do not, since the assessor is not here, we do not have an assessor's report. Do we have a road commissioner's report?
There's nothing interesting to report. We're starting to use the new stump grinder, get rid of some stumps we want to get rid of. That's working really good. Started laying out some of the areas to grind out for the new road project this summer. So we're ready to finalize that and get it marked. Hopefully, Geneva Construction will come in this month, start in.
What road are we doing this year?
Nelson Lake Road.
Nelson Lake.
Anything else? Any questions from the road commissioner? All righty. Do we have any trustee reports?
I have one.
Good.
Chris invited me out to see that chipper and how it worked, and it was, just happened to be down the street from my house. It was a, I don't know, 30-inch diameter oak stump.
Did it do it?
Went through that stump like butter. It better have, it was brand new. But it was a pretty slick operation. And these type of stump grinders go on the end of a skid steer or a, what else do you want to call them? Like a
Track machine,
bobcat,
yeah.
whatever. So it's a,
It's pretty cool.
it's a safer way to do it than having a man out there with a stump grinder, and it was pretty nice demonstration, that's all.
Does it look like a giant chainsaw?
Well, it was a wheel. It's a big wheel with teeth on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw blade.
You don't want to slip in front of that. It's not a saw blade, but things are sharp. Whew.
Cool.
Anyway, that's my report on that. That's all I had to say.
That's all you had to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I will say one more thing.
Good.
Even though we were unopposed, I want to congratulate everybody on the last election, and you know, people can always choose to run for the positions. This year they did not, so we're all in.
Shouldn't you also give special mention to the one that received the most votes in the township?
No.
Okay.
One is all we needed, so.
I think I mentioned who got the, never mind. In my congratulatory email.
It's not important.
It is not important. The only, well, the interesting thing about this consolidated election is the turnout. The turnout was much higher than, you know, under normal conditions. I was predicting 7% turnout. It was in some, it was 20-some percent.
23.
Yeah, in some areas, it was over 30% turnout.
Good turnout. For a half year.
Because of the tax question.
Okay, any other, do we have any, we don't have any public, do we have any public participation? Since we don't have any public.
Michelle?
Michelle is public.
In public, I have no
You don't have anything to say. Good. All righty. I just have one item of old business. You know, we need just to clear up a kind of technicality with regard to the resolution we passed with regard to reconsolidation at the last meeting. I would like to move to amend the motion passed at the March meeting to strike 113th and session of the General Assembly in its 104th. TOI made an error. In the first sentence of the first full sentence of the resolution that we passed will be amended to read as follows, whereas Senate Bill 2504 and Senate Bill 2217 and House Bill 2215, introduced by the 104th Illinois General Assembly in March 2025, is asking for the consolidation of township government. So is there a second to my motion to amend the motion passed at the March meeting?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, then I would ask that all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none opposed. We have amended that resolution. And I don't have any other new business, and so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved to adjourn.
Second.
Is it seconded by Mr. Donnet? So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries, and we are now adjourned. And the next meeting of the Batavia Township Board will be on May 13th, 2025.
Thank you.
Thank you, public.